One word. Hypnotist, Chris Jones. One word. So the One Word Chris Jones podcast, and we're broadcasting today from the Riverside Park. It's the Friendship Garden, which is pretty cool. And I just wanted to bring you here because, you know, you went to UWL, and we actually been friends for, 6-7 years now. I remember the first time that we met, you came to the radio station, and, and I interviewed you at my radio show. And that was your first radio interview. And
Without
you
a doubt.
Were super nervous.
I was.
I was
talking real fast.
You were.
And I was talking real quiet. And it was like 6 in the morning, and I was trying not to curse because I didn't know if we could or not.
And you couldn't.
No.
And you couldn't. So you did a good job with that.
Thanks.
But you could tell that you were super nervous that first time. And then since then, our friendship has blossomed into, I think you were on the air with me probably 7 or 8 times. And then we've been doing this podcast monthly for a while and, you know, hanging out and doing stuff. And I mean, I appreciate that. That's why I wanted to come down here to the Friendship Garden, which is a pretty cool place. So since the last time we spoke, you got married right before the last time we talked. And then since the last time we talked, you went on your honeymoon.
Yeah. So my wife is amazing. We got married on a Saturday. We had Sunday off. Then the next day she started a brand new job. And she's a social worker, so it's not like she's, you know, a comedian like I am where you have an easy, fun job. No, like she has to work with kids who need help. And she worked for a week, and then she said, well, I'm going to go on my honeymoon now. And we flew to Barcelona. We went to Ibiza. We went to Nice, France. We went to Rome. We saw the Vatican. And then we flew back, and I immediately started my tour.
That's
and I get
cool.
No days off. Today's the 31st until the 8th.
Let me ask you this. So when you were in Rome and went to the Vatican, did you see a mass with the Pope?
I didn't see the Pope, no. We saw the Vatican. We couldn't go inside. I don't know if you need permission to go into the Vatican, but I did see the funny guards' outfits.
Right.
Like the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen in your entire life. They're wearing skirts and their curls, and you're just like, who are you protecting?
So do they have the big hats that have like the fuzzy stuff on them?
I think that's the UK. I didn't notice hat. I was just too busy looking like these men in skirts that are just ribbony, and I was like, you guys are a little off here.
Stop.
You're a little off. Nothing about this is intimidating.
No. But maybe it's so that way you start looking and you start laughing, and then you don't.
You forget about the whole issues that they're dealing, yeah.
My brother had the opportunity many years ago when he and his wife went to Rome. They actually went to a mass that the Pope did.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, but they said it's funny because when he went in there, he said he had a pocket knife on him. He had to put his pocket knife into this box. You know?
I could see that.
And then at the end, he could come back and take it, but he goes, the line was so long, they just kind of left it.
We did see a huge line, and it was in the sun. It was 90-some degrees. There was no clouds. Everyone was just pouring sweat. And I was like, unless Jesus Christ is in there, there's no reason to stand in the line.
Right.
I don't know why these people are doing it, but I did get upset for a second because we went to a holy church, and there were signs outside. They warned us on the cruise ship, women have to cover up. So Stacy's a pretty modest person.
Like his face?
She was wearing a sundress.
Oh.
It wasn't spaghetti strap or anything like that. It was just a sundress. And I'm wearing a shirt, whatever, and I go inside. And immediately, we're in this church, and this guy walks up to her and says, you can't wear that here. And angry me, rebellious me, I just point and I go, Jesus is nude. And we leave.
What do they say to that?
And not even say that. I was like, Jesus, naked. Because we were in Italy, and I didn't know how to say Jesus isn't wearing clothing. We just left. Like, how are women's shoulders blasphemous? You know? So, we did other cool things, but I was upset about that for a while.
Really?
Like, you're telling someone they can't enter a church because their shoulders... Like, I was like, sweetie, let's try one more time. I'm going to give you my clothing, and I'm just going to go in shirtless and see if they say anything. Just out of anger.
Did you do that?
No. She wanted me to behave.
They probably would have kicked you out anyway.
Maybe. Shoulders. Dirty women's shoulders.
I always thought God accepts you for the person you are.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Or the person you're trying to be.
Yeah, as long as you're trying to be good. Trying to do the right thing.
Jesus made a typo when they said, love your neighbor. He was misquoted. Love your neighbor as long as they look like you. So that was my honeymoon. getting kicked out of a church.
Oh, wow. So he said we were just talking about doing the right thing. Let's talk about philanthropy, because I know that you're a philanthropist. When we hung out in Chicago, I actually saw you handing out money to people that were on the street, and I know that you probably didn't want me to see you doing it.
I didn't.
You kind of walked behind me when you did, but
yeah,
I did notice that.
You're real observant.
And I do know that you have a scholarship that you'd set up for UWL students as well.
Yeah. So Dr. Ronald Rashan is the mentor. He found me a scholarship to go to college, and I don't want to limit the scholarship I'm going to offer today, but I do want to offer to someone who's a non-traditional college student. So maybe you went and served in the military, maybe your parents didn't go to college, or maybe your parents immigrated here somehow, some way, but I really want to focus on people who are marginalized. Yes, I love the middle class. Yes, I love the working class, but you have some people who are living in tents in this country, and we shouldn't forget about them. And you have the ultra-rich, too. I'm sure Warren Buffett is a great guy. He's trying to give away as much money as he can. Steve Jobs was a refugee. Like, his parents were refugees. That's not correct. His parents came here from Syria. And every time you get an iPhone, you should be like, this is because we have immigrants, and America is a melting pot, and I want to remind people of that at La Crosse. Like, keep La Crosse beautiful and keep it diverse. I went to school here in 2004, and I remember I was so ignorant. I just saw a restaurant, and I thought it was Chinese food, and I was like, well, that's not how you spell Chinese food. It was Hmong golden egg roll. And I was like, what the hell is a Hmong?
Right.
Hmong. And I learned about Laos and Cambodia and Vietnam, and citizens who lived in Cambodia helped American soldiers during Vietnam. Then the American troops withdrew, and we said sorry. But some places like this, Minneapolis, they said, we're going to take in some immigrants because if we don't take one, you could die.
Right.
So, again, I just care about the marginalized people.
Now, weren't those egg rolls the best egg rolls you ever had?
It's incredible how everything kind of is like burrito-ish, but gets smaller and better. You start with a burrito.
That's a good way to point it.
And then it's a spring roll, an egg roll, and then you're just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's some good stuff. Like a burrito.
Like if you could only eat American food, you'd get tired of French fries and burgers real fast.
Oh yeah. Well, this is built on a lot more than just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Lord, I've missed Wisconsin.
I spent some time yesterday. Went to the Minnesota State Fair. Oh my God!
Big people.
There was more people. I grew up in the Twin Cities, and I used to work at the State Fair when I was in high school. I thought there was a lot of people then. There were so many people there yesterday, Chris. I could not believe it. As far as the eye could see, there's people all over and everybody was in a hurry to get to nowhere. Because where are you going?
Yeah.
We're all going, and there's just like cattle walking around in a circle, eating stuff on a stick. They actually have beer on a stick too, which I thought was pretty cool. I was going to buy some, but it ended up being just there's a flight of beers on a stick that had the hole for the beers.
All right. So
it's disappointed. If it would have been fried.
I mean, if you could do that, even that would make it so much better.
Yeah, if you could do it fried, I would have bought it. If I would have figured out if they would have fried beer, I would have done it, but they didn't. I did eat hot dish on a stick though.
That is the most Wisconsin Midwest thing ever.
It was
a hot dish.
Yeah, it was basically it was a meatball, a tater tot, a meatball, a tater tot, a meatball, a tater tot, a meatball, dipped in corn batter.
I take back what I said about the egg rolls among egg rolls. That's my new diet right there.
And then that's why you would look like this.
Oh, God.
Rather than like that.
But I joke because I've been sitting in the car for a month, driving, doing these shows. I'm slowly getting a dad bod. And I named my car Dad Bod. And the dad bod is real because you hold a baby, you know? You don't have time to exercise. You don't want to exercise. You're holding a kid, tossing the kid in the air, making the kid laugh. And it's all right.
So our conversations always go all over the place.
That's what a friendship is.
That really is. And there's probably stuff that we probably shouldn't say on these things that we do say.
Philanthropy and children swimming and showering.
Yeah, just a couple of things that you should say. So back to the honeymoon thing, though. So you're in honeymoon mode. Now you're in work mode. You're working until the 8th. And then right?
I'm so excited. I'm performing at Harvard.
Are you really?
It took 10 years performing. I got Harvard October 5th. First time there. Very excited.
That is pretty cool. So is that the place that you always wanted to try or always wanted to perform?
Yeah. I always wanted to go to Harvard.
Have
Nothing
you ever
against
been to Boston?
Yale.
Have you been to Boston before?
Boston has been good to me.
I love Boston.
Boston's a lot of fun. So I know where my career is going. Where are you going to go?
I've been bartending a couple days a week and podcasting, picking up new clients, which is cool. Hey, if you're looking for somebody to help you podcast, help you to tell your story, podcastforhire.com. It's the way to go.
Lots of fun.
It's like this, and then I cut it up and make it sound good. Mm-hmm. Or the best it can with us.
Don't talk about the financial troubles.
Find entertainer and hypnotist Chris Jones at hypnotistchrisjones.com. The One Word Chris Jones Podcast, a podcast for hire production.